Welcome to this episode of Salesfuse 5. In this video, we're doing a short introduction to corporate hierarchy, what it means, how it works, and why it's essential to understand when selling. There are common misconceptions about bureaucracy, bosses, boards of directors, CEOs, presidents, and all these roles. You may be used to hearing terms such as managers, team leaders, and supervisors, and it's helpful to take a step back and understand what those terms mean and how they are applied in the workplace, especially your prospect's workplace, because you will likely need to help them navigate. Before we start, let's take a little quiz. Do you think a company's CEO and the president are the same people? If you don't know or are unsure about it, stay with me, and you'll see the answer shortly. So hierarchy is a model of organizational structure that divides people into levels according to their power, status, and authority. Of course, people who rank higher have more ability than people that rank lower, and they are the ones who make all of the critical decisions. Hierarchy is one of many organizational structure models out there. There's also a flat hierarchy, where there aren't many managers, and something called a matrix structure. But interestingly enough, most organizations follow the hierarchical model, and there is a good reason for that. And that reason is called accountability. The hierarchical model ensures that people are accountable to others, which is interesting because it boils down to the elements of human nature. Accountability is not just about keeping employees in check. It's also about keeping the CEO and the other high-ranked organization members accountable. It works both ways. Executives have accountability to their board and their customers, and employees have a responsibility to their managers, each other, and customers. For example, if the decision makers make wrong assumptions and the company doesn't achieve its goals, which causes employees to be laid off, the shareholders and the board might step in and say, "Hey, you're not doing a good job," and fire the CEO. That can happen, and that's fair because there is some kind of protection for everyone. Also note here that the new CEO might be someone brought in from outside or promoted from the same corporation. And that's another thing hierarchy does. It creates a roadmap for a career path. Most people join a business at its ground level as employees, but they can be promoted and become supervisors, then be promoted again and become managers, and so on. To conclude all of these points, let me say that hierarchy creates some form of unity and direction within the organization and, in a sense, ensures that everybody acts in everybody's best interest and not their best interest. Essentially, hierarchy provides an effective organization, and every member of that particular business knows what their role is and what is expected from their position. People know their responsibilities, and they work in that direction. Since we have a quiz, I think it's time to lay out the roles and the levels of hierarchy we usually have in business. Of course, there is a distinction between small and larger businesses because in smaller businesses, many of the roles we describe are not there. The foundation of it all is the employees. We all know what an employee is. In that order, the employees report to the team leaders, supervisors, and managers. These roles are sometimes mixed up, or some are skipped, but the manager is above all. The managers report to the department heads of their respective departments, and the department heads report to the vice president and the president. Above those two, we find the COO, or Chief Operating Officer, and the CEO, or Chief Executive Officer. In short, the COO is the maestro of operations, while the CEO makes all of the critical future-oriented decisions for the company, always in sync with the company's direction and vision. And finally, the board of directors and principal shareholders have significant power over the company. They are higher ranked than the CEO because they can initiate decisions based on votes, one being if the CEO should be fired. Again, don't take these for granted because hierarchy heavily depends on the size of the business. All right, that wraps up today's lesson. We talked about many things here. By now, you should have a better view of hierarchical structure in business and why it is so widely preferred over other structure models. Thank you for watching.